Davy, did I miss anyone?
I don't think so. There were a lot of people coming in, but I think you might have gotten everybody. It's hard to keep track, so if we
So,
missed you,
do
we're
you
still thinking of you.
do you,
Welcome.
do you remember the topic for today? Who remembers the topic?
The lotus of the heart.
Yes. We call this the heart space, and it took a lot of meditation. It took a lot of uh, reflection and search to come up with this name, heart space. And it's strictly uh, because most sages that I have studied under, and I have studied their writings from the wisdom texts, I find that there is a tremendous emphasis on the space of the heart. And although most of our life is very much connected to the mind and other aspects of our lives, but the heart is a very, very sacred space. So, one of the sages, actually, not more than one, they explain how this heart is it's like a lotus flower. It has various different uh, chambers, and we will get into it. So, how to cultivate the lotus of the heart? So, in one of the Upanishads, wisdom texts, there is a word that says, Hridaya Kamala Madhye Samsthitam Parameshwara. That means in the heart, in the lotus of the heart, the divine is situated. And so I thought, oh, very interesting. Let us see why this sage is saying in the lotus of the heart, the divine is situated. So, for those of you who have heard of this wisdom text called the Bhagavad Gita, there is also a reference made to this exact uh, principle, where these two friends, Krishna and Arjuna, are having a dialogue. And in that dialogue, they are uncovering and unraveling various different depths of spirituality. And it is actually one of the greatest literatures because it's just so beautiful and dialectic and very easy to understand. And there in this chapter 18, verse number 16 in the Sanskrit, it explains Ishvara Sharva Bhutanam Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati. I'm just giving you the Sanskrit so that if you like Sanskrit like Santa Clara, then you can dissect a little deeper. So Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati, that means Krishna is explaining to his friend that the divine is situated in the heart. Of course, it's all pervasive, it's everywhere, but it is also specifically stated that it is situated in the heart. So that I thought was very interesting. So why is the heart so critical and so important? And the lotus, my room is locked. You may have to come in through the other door. Someone is knocking. Normally the door to my room is always open. I live in the ashram. It's 24 hours open. So let's look at it from different perspective. One is when you study yoga, you study there is the seven chakras in the body. And you'll notice the heart chakra. It's a very interesting location because the heart chakra is the center. Lower than the heart chakra are the material energies, the material energy, the material modes, it's all got to do with matter. And all the energies of the chakras above the heart are the matter of the spirit. So heart is the center of our life where matter and spirit,
Yeah, you can join here.
they connect.
It's on Zoom. Yeah. I'll see you in the afternoon too. Yeah. You can sit here. Okay.
So it's really beautiful because heart is where matter and spirit connects. What does that mean? What it means is ego, because earth is related to the ego, and the heart and above is related to bhakti or love or transcendental love. So where ego dissolves and love takes over. And that's why one of the sage explains that the lotus of the heart is the seat of the embodiment of this transcendental, unconditional, eternal spiritual love. So that's the beauty of the heart. Now, many sages, they explain the body as the temple. It is not just where you reside, but it is a temple of God. So the body is a temple of the divine, and the breath that we take continuously, the breath represents the fragrance of the incense. And as we know, we have also studied the 5 sensory faculties, which is the sense of sight, smell, taste, touch, and to hear. These 5 sensory faculties represents the 5 lamps, the 5 flames. It's a lamp that is offered, it's the light that is offered to the Lord of the heart. So the 5 senses are the lamp, the flame. If you go to any temple, you will see there's 5 flames that they offer. And those 5 flames represents the 5 senses. And the heart represents the altar. So imagine the altar that is in the temple, which is the body. The altar that is within the temple is the heart. And now you get to pick. How cool is that? You get to pick which embodiment of love in your life is the one that is the rightful person to be situated in that altar of the heart. For many of us, after doing 42 years of my sadhana, I realized that in the lotus of my heart, it has to be the embodiment of transcendental, pure, eternal, unconditional spiritual love. And in Sanskrit, that word is Krishna, or Radhe Shyam, this divine couple, this energy of divine feminine love and divine masculine love. So, this is the beauty. And now, when we talk about the breath, remember I said the breath is the incense, the fragrance of life. What is that incense of life? In the Prashna Upanishad, a great wisdom text, it explains, Pranashyahi hridayam sharanam, or Pranashyahi sharanam hridayam. That means that incense, that fragrance, which takes the sanctuary of the heart. So this prana, that life air that we inhale, it is giving entrance to the sanctuary of the heart. So the breath that we take, the fragrance that we take in our lives, it should be very, very selective, because fragrances can repel and it can also attract. For example, the fragrance of humility is considered to be one of the most powerful fragrances that clear the path to the heart. It is the fragrance of humility. Now, if we cultivate the fragrance of arrogance, pride, false ego, then those fragrances may not be able to reach to the inner sanctuary of the heart. So that's why it is very clear that that fragrance of the heart should be very, very carefully chosen. And within the heart, there is a lamp. This lamp that lights, like we're talking about the fire. What does that flame represents? It represents our consciousness. And consciousness, of course, has various different degrees of it, but that pure consciousness is the consciousness of pure awareness that burns in the heart of a yogi. So this is why we understand the heart is such a critical place, because in another ancient text, it explains that in the lotus of the heart is the seat of freedom. Unless you are situated in your heart, you will never be able to experience freedom. Because the mind is considered to be the prison, and the heart is considered to be the abundant spiritual sky, the spiritual world. And so therefore, if you want freedom, if you want to attain the spiritual abode, then one must enter into the inner sanctuary of the heart. There is a very beautiful, beautiful sage by the name of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he explains in one of his beautiful poetic writings, and he says, Tomara hridaye shada govinda vishram. He said, those who cultivate this divine consciousness in the heart, then Govinda, in his the deity of his heart, which is the pleasure giver of all the senses, he explains that this Govinda Vishram, he is rested in that inner sanctuary of the lotus-like heart for those who cultivate that spiritual consciousness. In that space, it is the space of sincerity. It is the space of silence. It is the space of union between you and the divine. And that's why it's so deeply emphasized in all yoga texts that focus should only be on the heart. Focus should only be in the heart. It is called the Devalaya. The kingdom of God is the heart. Deva Alaya. So there's very beautiful songs written by various different sages explaining how to build this temple of the heart. And one of the most fundamental and the most simple way to build a temple of the heart is to every single day take time to cultivate this emotion of gratitude in the heart. Basically what it means, gratitude means acknowledging all the beautiful gifts that has been given to us. So that is step one on how to cultivate this inner sanctuary of the heart. And the second, it explains, is that you must sit with yourself and sing. Very interesting, right? Why singing? Because singing is the language of the heart. You may think that you're not a good singer. You may have so many judgments about your own singing because somebody has told you so. But the language of the heart is through song. So that's why it's called kirtanam, that you must do kirtan. While you're in the shower, you can sing. When you're cooking, you can sing. When you're in the car, you can sing. You can just always sing. So this very important principle. One is to daily take 10-15 minutes, sit or write all the things that has been given to you. Because you came into this world with nothing. So whatever you have has been given to you. And those are all been given to you by the divine. And how to actually feel that emotion of love that is being given to you and shared with you, and that is simply through the practice of gratitude. And that gratitude comes through the practice of humility. Humility and gratitude are almost synonymous. That means acknowledgement of the transcendental gifts. And the second point is to do kirtan, to always sing, always do kirtan. So I want to share with you, so I just gave you 2 steps, right? Very simple, how to get into the heart. And of course, you all have your daily spiritual sadhana. So many sages, they give various different experiences of their relationship with the divine in the heart. One sage calls it the lamp that shines from within the heart. Because what does that mean, the lamp? It's the light. The light is not in your head. When you want to look at this world, you cannot look at this world with the lens of the eyes and the lens of your mind and the lens of your intelligence, but you have to look at it through the lens of the heart. And another sage says that we must maintain and experience our spiritual sadhana and silence in the cave of the heart. The sages, they meditate in the cave. Why? Because it is a place of silence. It is like being in the womb. Another sage explains the heart is like the womb of the mother. And in the practice of bhakti, the sages are saying that we always try to uh, remain in the heart because it is the temple of God. So our practice is how to be in the temple. If someone says, let's go to the temple, what does that mean? Go to a big structure outside? No, it is basically asking us that please take this journey to the heart, to the inner chambers of the heart. And then other great saint, he explains that we must cultivate the garden of the heart. And what is his realization? Because he explains that the heart sometimes accumulates unnecessary garbage, unnecessary things. So those are like the weeds in the garden. So he explains that we must take time to weed the weeds in the garden of the heart. Some sages explain that we must place in the throne of the heart the love of our life. The throne of the heart. There's a very beautiful song written by this great saint Narottam Das Thakur where he explains Radha Krishna Pranamor Jugala Kishore Jivane Marane Gati Ar Nahi More. Very beautifully he writes how he wants to place the divine in the golden throne of his heart. A throne decked with, and he describes what that throne looks like with all these beautiful gems and jewels. So, this is how the sages are emphasizing the importance of the heart, 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 heart. Get out of your mind, get out of your intelligence, get into the heart. And that is what this practice of bhakti is. And this 534 years ago, this great saint, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came in and he really shared something profound. And he equates the heart to the drum of the heart. Imagine this. When you go to a place, depending on the frequency of your heart, the drum of your heart will resound and spread the vibrations all around you. So wherever you go, you will hear something called the Brihat Mridanga. The frequency of your heart can be so powerful, the drum can reverberate and go far and far and far. And it explains that the drum of the heart is so powerful that it can penetrate all the planets, and that sound can reach the highest realm of the spiritual world. So, I wanted to ask all of you if you would like me to take you on a small meditation. I wrote a meditation as I was meditating on the heart. I wrote a meditation and I would like to share it with all of you. Give me a thumbs up or give me a heart or something on your screen. If you're invisible, then we'll do a beautiful meditation. Okay, so perfect. You must be comfortable in this meditation. You're seated or you're laying down, or if you're driving, please do not follow all the instructions, such as closing your eyes while you're driving. So, this meditation I called, and I wrote this, where love blooms in the forest of the lotus of the heart. Okay? So this is the meditation. So I'm going to request you to please gently close your eyes. Be comfortable, gently close your eyes. And let your breath become the breeze that stirs the tall grasses of your inner world. Please take the attention to your breath and let your breath become the breeze that stirs the tall grasses of your inner world. Inhale like drawing morning mist into your lungs. Exhale like letting go of autumn leaves into a slow moving river. Now turn inward, not to escape, but to return to a place older than memory, deeper than thought, a place shaped not by logic, but by longing. Here, within the forest of your chest, hidden behind the noise of the world, is a sacred grove of silence. Let your breath guide you through this. With each inhale, You walk deeper beneath the flowering trees whose blossoms hum ancient songs of bhakti lullabies. With each exhale, the canopy above parts slightly and sunlight filters through like golden grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. At the heart of this grove, you come upon a pond, still and luminous, its surface reflecting the sky of your soul. Floating in its center is a lotus. Its petals, the color of moonlight and wild roses. Its scent, the memory of something you once knew but forgot. The lotus is closed, but not asleep. It awaits for your breath to awaken it. Inhale gently. Feel light warming its petals. Exhale slowly and watch them begin to open, like wings remembering how to fly. And now, rising from the heart of this lotus is a presence made not of flesh but of essence, and the essence of the embodiment of love. They are the color of midnight rivers and honey-eyed dusk. Their eyes like deep wells where stars have come to rest. Their smiles is not on the lips, but in the air around them. It softens everything it touches. They do not come toward you. They do not need to. They are already inside you, rooted in the soil of your soul. And beside them now, as the moon follows the tide, emerges the divine feminine source of love, Sri Radha. She is the whisperer in the wind, the curve of the horizon, the fragrant that slips through, jasmine in the bloom. Her touch is the hush that falls over the forest at twilight, the stirring in the earth just before spring. She is the womb of compassion, the pulse of beauty, the song of water meeting stone. Together they sit in your heart's lotus, as if the whole universe were merely a garden for their love. They gaze upon you with eyes that do not judge, but see you like sunlight sees a river, completely without resistance and with joy. You are not outside them. You're not even beside them. You are their breath. You are their reflection in the water. You are the wind that carries their fragrance through the forest of the world. Let the breath become sacred now. Inhale and draw in your presence like drinking from a hidden spring. Exhale, release everything you are not, like petals falling into the pond. Now please, silently, speak to them. Make me a tree in your forest, a lily on the path. Make my body your temple, my breath your mind, my tears your river. Let me love the world as you love all things, not from afar, but one who remembers we were never separate. Rest in this. You have not imagined it. You have remembered it. This grove is real. This lotus is yours. This love is you. Please stay there in that space as long as you like. And when you return to the surface of life, please carry the scent of this garden in your heart. Let every word you speak be dipped in His love. Let every eye you meet see this forest behind your eyes. For the lotus of the heart is no longer hidden. It is blooming. And the garden of love has found a home in you. So now, please come back to your breath, and you can gently open your eyes. Hey, beautiful souls, come on back. Okay, so that is our meditation. It was a short meditation. This meditation is derived from the inspiration of one of these great saints of Vrindavan. His name is Prabodhananda Saraswati. And he is sitting and in his meditation, he's seeing all this divine leelas happening. And he's just writing them down. And so when you read his meditations, it inspires your heart to find deeper and deeper meaning and deeper spiritual connections. Okay, so we have 10 minutes. We'll take any questions, comments, any feedback, any reflections. There was quite a few questions that people had been messaging. I didn't answer them yet, so we could answer them unless you want to share something. I have a question for all of you. These meditations that I do, sometime I randomly feel inspired to do them. Would you like me to make a meditation for you every Saturday? Or would you just want the heart information?
Both.
Okay, you have to give us thumbs up or you have to give us hearts, then we can do both. Every week we just do a 5-minute, 10-minute meditation or 15-minute meditation. And it'll all be meditation related to the spiritual world and a realm beyond matter. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, we have room for a few questions.
Prabhu, what was the name of the Leelas that you were reading? Like, where can I find the information to read it?
Oh, you have to find it it's called Vrindavan Mahimamrita. I can text it to you. You can text it to me and I can share that with you. It is called
That'd be great.
Vrindavan Mahimamrita. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, anyone else? Any other questions?
Dayama has her hand raised.
Dayama, please.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Oh wow, it was again so wonderful. I was thinking on what you say about singing as a language of the heart. I remind many years ago when I was cooking, I was all the time singing, but I didn't realize until my daughter told me. And there was a moment that I didn't sing anymore. So I even didn't realize. And then after a while, I started singing again. And then my daughter say, "Oh, mom, you feel good again." I say, "Why?" "Because you're singing again while you're cooking." So yes, it's very important to sing in any time. So yes, thank you for this to remind me.
Yes.
I just want to share that.
It explains that when you sing, the divine couple of love in the heart will start to dance. Because Bhaktir Kamale Kare Nritya Nritya Lila. That means in the heart of devotion, the lotus heart of devotion, when you sing with love, then this divine transcendental couple, which is the masculine and the feminine personification, the embodiment of love, they will start to dance in your heart. And when they dance in your heart expands and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You'll notice, you may know already, as a grandmother, you'll notice your love does not shrink, it expands. It just keeps growing. And you become a child again with your grandkids. And it's so beautiful. They love you more than they love their parents. Why? Because you're just like them. Your heart is open. Your heart is ready to be simple and be kind and be playful. So it's very important in life to sing. And that's why the sages in Vrindavan, they wrote so many beautiful songs of the heart. So many beautiful songs. Is why? Because they're just singing. Their heart is singing. Because that is the language of love. Kirtan is the language of love. You may feel like you sound horrible. You may judge yourself. But you'll be surprised when you just keep singing what happens. Your judgment will disappear. Because that is the power of love. Power of love throws away judgment. So initially, when you start to do kirtan, you may start to judge yourself, but it's only a matter of time. Your judgment will start to disappear and dissolve. And whatever is contrary to love will start to dissolve and disappear. I know Durga Devi once told me that she was worried that she doesn't do good kirtan. And I just say, she said, what is the secret? And I said, just keep doing more kirtan. And I remember going to Leonie's house and meeting her. At the center of her house has a beautiful altar where she worships the Lord of her heart. And the first thing I said is, can you please sing? Can you please sit and let us do some kirtan? And she sang so nicely on the ukulele and the harmonium. So this is the way to cultivate this bhakti in the heart, this love in the heart. So thank you, Dayama, for sharing. Anyone else would like to share or have any questions regarding the lotus of the heart? You all are so passive.
Vedaji, I have a question going back to kirtan if no one else has a question.
Yes.
So it's come up a lot in different kirtans and different, excuse me, meetings. I'm sorry, guys. For the new people to kirtan, to mantras, whether or not the exact pronunciation of every single Sanskrit syllable is imperative as people are beginning to learn. And I know there's been some conversation around, it has to be perfectly right, it has to be enunciated, it has to be pronounced exactly as is. But when you're learning these mantras, which some of them are not easy and the pronunciation is much different than your own native language, I'm just curious what your thought is if the intention as you're learning becomes important. And then as you learn, then the pronunciation also brings more depth to it. What are your thoughts on that?
Beautiful question. Beautiful. I want to tell you a story. Can I tell you a story? So the story is of this saint sitting outside of a temple in South India. And because he had never gone to school, like formal school, he didn't know how to read, he didn't know how to write. But his teacher, his guru had told him, he says, my dear disciple, my dear student, I want you to read this Bhagavad Gita. But he did not question. He knew he didn't know how to read. He was materially illiterate. But his teacher had given him an instruction. His guru had asked him to do something. So he started to do. He just sat with the Gita and he was looking at the front picture of the Gita where Krishna is driving the chariot of his dear friend. And he is looking at that picture and he's crying tears of love. And people are walking by and they're wondering, why is this man, he didn't even open the book, he doesn't even know what it contains, but he's just looking at the cover of the book and he's crying? What is going on here? So the news reached his teacher and he's...
Yeah, what would you hear?
And his teacher came and asked him, he says, my dear disciple, why are you in tears? He said, because I'm just seeing what is true love? What is the true power of bhakti in the heart? What does it really mean? That is what I realize by looking at this book. And he says, please explain. He said, "My dear spiritual master, I didn't tell you that I don't know how to read, so I couldn't even open the book because I don't know how to read. But you instructed me to read, so I sat with this book with a desire to read, and this book is talking to me, talking to my heart." And what is that language of the heart? Language of the heart is the language of bhakti. Bhakti means, we have discussed, it's love. So that is the most powerful principle. Whether you can chant the mantra properly, whether you can pronounce the syllables properly, whether you have the proper rhythms, whether you have anything, that is secondary to the pure emotion of expressing your pure intention to connect with the divine. And so that is the key. Not, I give you another story. There was this great saint in India. His name is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur. An incredible saint. And this saint was just, they call him the lion saint because he had such a powerful presence that he would, no matter how intellectual you were, it was during the British era, no matter how intellectual you were, when you met him, all your logic would just dissolve. That's the power that he carried. So one day what happened was he noticed he had thousands of disciples all over India. So one day he noticed that his disciples are sitting together and they were doing kirtan and they were just relishing kirtan. Like they were just enjoying. Enjoying what? The performance of it. And that kind of made him pause, and he wanted to teach his disciples what it really means to sit and practice mantras and doing kirtan. So instead of it being a performance, what did he do? He got the people that didn't know how to play any of the instruments. He took the kartals and he gave it to one of his disciples that didn't know how to play kartals. He took the mridanga and he gave it to one of the students that didn't know how to play mridanga. All the instruments, he gave it to people that didn't know how to play any of the instruments, because he observed the devotion and the love in their heart. So now what he says, now please let us have a kirtan, let us sing. And they started to sing. And they were singing from their hearts. And everything was offbeat, off rhythm. Everything was just like so-called materially music chaos. And in his heart, the Guru's heart, he was laughing and he was having a blast. And he was enjoying and relishing the purity of his. And all the other professional performance musicians, they were so disturbed by this so-called material chaos. So what he was trying to teach is really the purity of the heart is the force. Purity is the force. So if your heart is pure, your intention is pure, that will penetrate through everything. And that is the essence. So whenever you're doing kirtan, whether you chant mantras properly or not, that is so secondary to the principle. So this is the key. The key is to always remain connected to the center of the heart, because there is the essence, there is the purity, there is your relationship with the divine, that is your home, that is where we belong, and that is where freedom is, that is where humility is, that is where God is, that is where we can feel loved. So thank you for your question, and thank you all for joining us today. And you're welcome to suggest any topics you want. And sometimes I just meditate throughout the week, and whatever comes, I just share. my meditations with you. So if there's any topics you want us to discuss or talk about, please feel free to message us in our WhatsApp group, on our Instagram, on our Facebook, on our YouTube, or you can write to Devi, because I know Nita is doing a lot of work with the social media, and you can always message him. He's always accessible. Okay. Thank you, beautiful souls. Please share the light and the love in your heart with others. And do not hoard it all to yourself. Share it. Let that light emanate from your heart. And we will see you next Saturday. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Namaste.
Krishna,
Hare
everyone.
Krishna, Big Buddy.
Hare Krishna, Vedaji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Have a good day.